Hello everybody. I'm starting a little bit early today to get a hold of get as much streaming time as we can here. Now let me just see if that'll still work. It does. Yay. Okay. Awesome. Hello everybody. Welcome to the second anniversary, the birthday of the live stream. I missed it last year and I looked it up this year and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this. This is crazy. So 2 years I've been streaming, which is out of control. I'm so glad I found it, so stoked, and just really glad to be still able to hang out with you guys. So thank you for joining in today. So we've been working lately. I kind of wanted to get a move on some of the other parts of the tarot deck that we've been talking about more recently. And I thought that today's live might be a good opportunity to start working on the border of the cards. We have 4 cards ready to go. So here is what we have so far. That's not very big. Sorry, I'm not used to using my desktop here, so this will be a learning experience for both of us, for all of us here. So these are the 4 cards that we have on the go. So our first one here was the kittens that went through. We're going to take out that black border around the edge eventually. I think we're going to take care of that with the card border itself here. We'll get to that in a bit. Then we have the Fortune Teller and Prospero cards. So we'll do Prospero first. This isn't the final card, actually. Oops, sorry. This is the final card with all of our magic and stuff here. So this is our final card for that guy. I was able to get his magic going and play with some of the highlights and the shadows to really pump up that piece, which I'm really stoked about. And then we have our lovely Fortune Teller. She is all ready to go. I'm so thrilled with how she came out. That's so much fun. I love how she came out. And then we have almost finished the Snake Charmers. This is the one we worked on last week, for those of you who weren't here. We worked on the Snake Charmers, and I kept working afterwards, and I worked on it the next day, and like, I can't even talk about this. I am so excited with how this came out, how the sky came together in the end, how all of the pieces came together, how the pop out from like the sticker cutout design looked. I am just in love with this card. I've been looking at it for a few days since I finished it. And there's a couple little shadows kind of around the legs and feet that I want to add in, just kind of give it a little bit more depth on that space, because it looks a little flat right now. Wait, hang on, something's weird here. I'm just... Oh, okay. I just had my Behance open on my iPad here, but it's just not refreshing. I just don't want to miss any of the chats. Okay. So a little bit more shading to put on these guys here. I'm beyond thrilled with how this came together. I'm very happy with it. For those of you who watched the original sketch live stream, it is... I'm going to do another print of this, kind of another design with them back to back. I think that this is going to work really well with, the people back to back. I liked the layout of that card. I played around with the sketches a little bit after the live stream, and then I think that that's an opportunity, but I think this will be what we use for the actual card, and then I'm going to do a print of them back to back. So there's just going to be so much going on here, and I'm stoked. And I'll take that opportunity to do a couple other like texture tests and things like that we want to do. So what I want to work on today, I wanted to finish the Celia card, another full color card before I got too deep into this, but I'm pretty eager to get to this point. Actually, please hold for 1 second. I forgot to turn on one thing. Gotta tell the Discord that we're here. So how was everybody's weekends? I went camping. It was awesome. Oops. There we go. Sorry, had to tell everybody I was here. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do today is, like I said, we're going to work on the backgrounds of the cards. The borders and the edges of the cards. My anticipation is that this will be the same for all the cards. There's going to be a bit of different layout for each card, or like for the different kinds. So all the suits are going to have the same layout, and then the major arcana will have something a little bit different. I'll go over that here. Let me just pull up to show you what I'm talking about. Oh, look, how convenient. One of each at the top. So I'll show here. Let me just switch to... is between the major arcana and the suit cards. So we'll start with this. So we're in Adobe Illustrator today on the desktop, and I'm trying to lay out how I want my cards to fit into the space. So what I did initially, as I mentioned, my final card is going to be a... Gotta be. It is now. Okay, a 2.75 by 4.75. So let me just do a quick tarot card size. 'Cause I don't know why I would have done this. Okay, yes. Just confirming. The 4.75 seemed weird to me. Okay, why is that being silly? Sorry, guys. There we go. So sorry. I'm not used to... Just move everybody around so we can see what's going on. Holy cow. Sorry, guys. Okay. So the final card size is, you can see over here on the right, a 2.75 inch by, it'll be 4.75 inch card size. But as I've been mentioning when I've been working on this, I am working at a larger scale. So that's what this gray box here is when I select this one. So that's the 6 by 9 inch that I've been working to. I was playing around with this a little bit last week, and I didn't, hang on a sec. Yeah, please disconnect. And I didn't do the scaling that we're gonna do today, which is actually important because we have, like, I do eventually want to try and print these. And we do have to keep a lot of things in mind as far as printer capabilities and such when we do this card, like do these cards. So I'm gonna don't remember what these were, so I'm gonna move them all up here. So I started off by blocking everything out. We're gonna start it at the big size. So I just did like a 2.75 by 4.75 card and then blew it up. This artboard is an 8.5 by 11. So I blew it up. Yeah, the artboard's an 8.5 by 11. You can always just check that there. Because I wanted to get to a big scale, a big size, so that I can make the art big and then we can always scale it down later on. So when I started with that first scaling, I scaled this up and held the shift key so that all the proportions would stay the same, so that when I'm making this, it's not going to be shifting out of orientation and scale and all that kind of stuff. We don't want that kind of thing. So what we have here now, this border here, I'll make it not gray. Let's make it, I don't want to make it red because I don't like making things red. I don't like red and gray. It makes me annoyed. Okay, so our blue box here is our artboard size. Now I initially had that going right to the edge, and that's where the border was going to start. When I start doing some scaling that we'll see in a minute, that wasn't going to work for a printer size, so I'll explain that when we get down to that point. So I did some shuffling here. So this inside box is actually going to be our final border, which means we're going to lose a little bit of the art around the edge of each of these cards. But that's okay. For the most part, I designed them that way, especially Prospero. We didn't get into a lot of detail on the edge of his border because I knew we were going to be cutting off some of the edges. And not a lot of the art, short of the fortune teller, goes right to the edge because I knew this would probably be the case. The only reason why I did that was because it saved me having to paint every inch of the art pieces, but also giving me that kind of less detailed space that I wouldn't be upset if I lost some of the details. But also if it's bigger than the cutoff border space, I'm not going to have a white gap anywhere. So the art will just kind of go to that edge. So as long as it is bigger than the 5.5 by 8.55 that I have here when I build it, then we will be okay to go. So that also gives me a little bit of wiggle room with this sizing as well. And then we have our boxes here on the two corners. So that's going to be for our suit cards. They're going to be the numbers that are going to have on each of the cards, just indicating which ones they are. And then we have the gray boxes, which is going to be our two components for the major arcana cards. So those are going to be the number of the card and then the name of that card. So I want to play around with these just a little bit first, and then I want to kind of get into styling of fonts and all that kind of fun stuff here. And we have these pieces. These are just kind of screenshots or quick JPEGs exports of the art for now to see what it looks like when we put it into place. So some of the stuff I was thinking about when I was designing this, I was like, oh yeah, this looks really good. That's a nice thick border. We're good to go and we'll move on. But considering I do want to print this at some point, we want to make sure that we scale it down to the size that it would be printed as, so we can see how the art comes through as well as see what our borders actually look like, because printers do have a bit of a wiggle room in that they there could always be a shift in the printer, or there could be something like that, and we don't want, or the way the laser cuts, or however you're getting it worked. We want to make sure we have lots of room so that if that shifts a little bit, we're not getting the art cut off or anything like that. So how I'm going to do this, I just copied, I just clicked and dragged holding the Option key and the Shift key here. So that copied all of our art that we had selected here. And then I'm going to scale this down. So I make sure here that the link is selected here. So that means it'll scale everything in proportion. If I don't have it selected and I change this to 2.75, it's just not going to maintain the proportions that we want. So if you're working in Illustrator on the desktop and you want it to scale uniformly, you could always click and drag and kind of guess, but that's too fiddly for me. So I just want to make sure that we have 2.75, and now everything is in place and down to scale. So this would be kind of the size of the final card in the end. So if I scale here, what I want to check and see is how much border space I have here. The anticipation is that the card's going to be pretty plain. I'm not going to do a huge design on this side of the card because, as we've seen, the designs are pretty elaborate to begin with. So I don't want it competing with these. We'll get a little bit fancier when we go to do the back of the card. I don't have a vision for that yet. I think that'll come to me a little bit later. I don't have a vision for the back of the card, but for the front, I was going to do kind of a lacy kind of design, but I think that's going to take away too much from our card and also give us not as much printing room as we would like. So I think a lot of this is going to be just plain black with some very simple lines. But one thing we want to keep in mind here is the size of these borders. And there's lots of different ways to check how big these borders are. I just like to draw a box. And I have my Smart tools on, so if you see some of those things highlighting and snapping, that's because my Smart guides are on. But we can see that this border is 0.18 inches. You generally want like 1/4 of an inch for printing leeway. So I'm pushing my buttons with this one, but I don't want to lose a lot of art. Can you sit still, monsieur? Here, look. You can see all the pupils. Look. There you are. You keep bumping me, you goose guy. You've been sleeping all day. Just settle down, okay? Good boy. Hi. Yes, you're a good boy. I have no treats there in the box still. Just lie down, please. You lie down, please. You'll fall off the chair. Okay. Can you sit down, please? There we go, handsome boy. So this is why we do these comparisons, because we want to make sure that things are in the right place, but also give the printer some wiggle room, because if we lose too much space there, we are going to risk the cutting off the art piece. So this is the bigger Prospero here is the scaled up 6x9 piece of art. Would you like down? Here you go. Go play with your guys, please. And then these guys were scaled down to, oops, this size here. So let's see. Oh, it's not even the right size. Okay, something silly is happening. Okay, Mojo, leave it, please. Off the mattress, please. Lie down. Okay, something silly's happening here. Oh, you know what I did? No, I don't even know what I did. Okay, hang on. So how big is this box then? 2.9. Is that more better? Sorry guys, I thought these were measured to this. These were probably scaled to a different version than I did earlier this week. Yeah, there we go. Okay, those are at the right size. So this, will this work? Oh, no it won't. So when I was playing with these earlier, I was scaling them down based off of the template size. So we were playing around with some things and I think I just mistakenly sized them incorrectly. This isn't much difference, but it's going to be confusing if I don't adjust it. Okay, so I just want to make sure this goes to this. And this guy. No fill, please. So I have wiggle room to move. You can see here I have wiggle room to move, scale the card around, because you like the way I put that in there. I don't want the hand or the hat to be cut off at all. So I have this wiggle room to play around with this. Sorry, this is bad. I just want to get this out of here. It's not a good example. Let's start with making this like this again. Oops. Eyedropper tool. I'll bring this to the front. And bring this to the front. And this to the front. Probably could take all the fills off this, that would be helpful. Okay, let me think. Oh, we have RB in the chat. Hi RB, welcome to the stream. Okay. Okay, so it's about 0.2 of an inch. I don't really want to lose a lot more here. So how big is this? We're working on the borders of the cards. Excuse me, RB. And I'm just trying to make sure. Oh, don't scale. That we have them set up nicely so that for future art pieces, I have all the art in the right spot. So get rid of this. This is kind of a little mundane right now, but once we get something that we like, I'm going to start fleshing some things out here. Oops. So that's 0.2. So that's probably a little better. We want to keep the prints in mind. Because if we don't, then the printer gets mad, and we don't want them to get mad. So if I do this, and we turn the black off, I will start talking through this. Sorry, I will live in Illustrator quite a bit. I will talk through this more. So sorry, everybody. So all I'm trying to do here is just scale the art down a little bit. This white box here, that's like going to be what's showing. So I want to make sure that the art fits in within these. This is also why I wanted to do this medium early in the process. I want a border that works with the different styles of cards that we have, but I also want to make sure that I have something laid out so that I don't put anything important in a space that will be not showing up in the final print. So there you can see that white box is the kind of like what we'll see in the final. I'm going to start cutting this out and kind of showing the different pieces and things in a minute, but I just want to make sure that these cards are going to work for how we've designed them. So we'll select this one. I'm just bringing them to the front when I do this. I'm a shortcuts person, so that's why I said I'm going to try talking through this. Our blue box is where our art goes. And I do have room to scale just a little bit. I want to make the art at the final size as much as possible, because doing this makes the line weights and things that I've been creating different. It doesn't maintain them. It changes the thicknesses and stuff that we have going on. But in how small we're working right here, I don't think that's going to be a big deal. As long as the art is staying outside of that white border, we should be okay. Okay, so these are working here. And those borders are good. So if I check here and make sure that this isn't much more than 0.2, 0.19 high, 0.19, but we're not going to be reaching that edge. So as long as I know that oh dear. There we go. I can't go outside of these gray boxes for any of these prints. Like that's like our hard deadline, like our hard cutoff. Then we should be okay to kind of start designing that and working that through. Okay, so knowing that those proportions work together at the scale, knowing I can't have this border be any thicker than this, Oh, we've got DTM in the chat. Hello. How did your art show go this weekend? Oh my goodness. And thank you. These are looking awesome. Thank you. We're working on the border today. We're working on getting an outside complete kind of look for these guys. So, so we have our proportions at our small scale size. So that's really all I want to know. So as long as these two are matching, then I think we're good to go. I want to keep working at this large scale size so that when we scale it down, it'll all work. I just want to make sure that these kind of borders are going to work for keeping final printing in mind. So if I start adjusting anything here, I'm going to have to do this little tiny test over here to make sure that it does work. So what I'm going to do down here, now this is off the artboard, but I want that because I want to make sure I know where the hole is going to go in the card, because these I picture these kind of just being overlaid on top of the cards in the end. I'm hoping to have it be a linked file so that if I do need to change anything on this as I'm putting these into the files, if I make any updates to the master, then I want to make sure that it changes all the cards so that if I'm at like card 62 and I make a change, I don't have to do all 62. But we'll get to that in a minute. Dan says, artist talk was great. Cool people stopped by, and today the coloring book went live on Amazon. Amazing. That's exciting. I'm definitely going to check that out. I'm all about the coloring books. Love it. Okay, so this blue border is just for my own mental check to see for size of the final art. I don't need this on the card itself, so that's why I'm going to delete it, keeping it on the master over here. And then I want this guy. I want these to be a rounded corner in the end. Just pondering. Yeah, so cool feature in Illustrator Medium recently. See these little blue dots here? If you click and drag, it'll make your fancy radius for you. Now this is at a big scale, so that's a 0.5 radius. I don't know what this is. We'll get rid of that. Because I want a nice fancy rounded card, kind of like this guy. I want a nice fancy rounded edge. That seems like a good scale to me. Just for visual purposes, this is something that I would talk with my printer about, because this is a 0.5 inch radius that I've got on there, but it'll be different. I don't know if this will tell me. Will it tell me? Oh, 0.46, so not too bad. I wonder if I can... 0.4 maybe. Okay, I think that's something I would more talk with the printer about, see what the radius and stuff would work for them on the end there. But I really want this just radius right now, just for visual purposes, because I want this nice round corner, and I don't want any of our stuff like bumping into the corners too much here. And then because I want kind of a gap on this, I'm going to copy this square, but what I'm going to do is select both my main outside border rectangle and then my inside one, and I'm going to go to my Pathfinder tool and divide this. So that used, because this guy's on the top, for those of you who don't use the Pathfinder tool, this is on the top and this is on the bottom. So what that did is that cookie cuttered that piece. But it also grouped them. So I will object ungroup. And now when I deselect, I'm picking the inside rectangle, but when I delete it, there's a nice big hole there. So that works really well for me right now to make sure that that's there. What I just did there to put that back in is I just pasted in front. I copied that before we did anything with it, and then I pasted it in front because what I want here is the white border, and I want to play around with it without it being the one shape, but I still want this gap here. So we're going to make this black because I'm pretty sure that's definitely how I want these to go. I want them to be a black border. I played around in my head a little bit with how I wanted, if I wanted paper patterns or anything like that. I don't want to do that. I think I just want to have it be black and white, and then we'll let the numbers and stuff do any colors and let the art really speak for itself. Oh, pretty cool, setting up master pages. Yes, this is something I'm familiar with but haven't done in a while, so I just want to make sure I get this guy done right, and then we can apply it to future cards for sure, because there's a few features I want on this. Again, trying to keep it super simple, but I don't want to redo them every time. So what I'm thinking here, I want a thicker, not too thick white border, and I want the stroke to kind of go to the inside. Again, I want as much of that black border as possible. So what that did was, for those of you who didn't see, you can see the blue edge here, that's the outside. So it usually defaults that the stroke will be on either side of that, and you can adjust it to be either on the outside or on the inside. And I want the inside one here because, again, I want as much of this black border as possible for printer room later on. Where's our Dari? What happened to him? Last I heard he was having internet issues, but that was a while ago, so I'm not too sure. He's got a lot going on right now, so I am not too sure. And now I'm going to copy this shape and copy it to the back, and then I am going to add an effect that's popular amongst almost no people. The drop shadow gets a bad rap. But I want this to kind of really... Oh, Dari bought a house and is moving. Yes, this will take up much time. Yes, yes. I understand. That's fair. That's exciting, though. I like that. Okay, so what I want this card to do a solid... I want it to emphasize the paper cutout look that we have. So those dark shadows that we're putting in the art pieces over here that give that layering paper effect, I want that to continue on the cards, on the border as well, to continue emphasizing that depth. So for right now, oops, that's not what I wanted it to do. Okay, good Lord, making a mess. Okay, let's try again. So it's an effect stylized drop shadow. I don't want too much of a blur, but I do want... 0.25 might be aggressive, but we'll see. So with most of these windows, again, for those of you who are newer to Illustrator, most of these windows that will apply an effect onto your work, if you click the preview check mark that's there, you can watch these changes happen live. So you don't have to worry about guessing, closing the window, trying again. You can see all of them live. And depending on your system and depending on the style you're trying to do, sometimes I find the 3D effects, if you're on a slower computer, will take some time to rasterize or render. So just give it a second. But if you have that preview on, that'll really help you out. Okay, we'll give that a try. Now, what I want to do, because again, we're going to try this at the smaller scale as well. I want to make sure it's still going to work really nicely. The shadow's not going to overtake. What I want to do is, when just got to remember. We have Adobe. Hello, Adobe. I just want to remember objects. Please welcome Adobe Live. Please leave a thumbs up. Yes, thank you very much. Thumbs up to all the things. Okay, what am I trying to do here? Color settings. I've lost what I'm trying to do. Okay, what we'll do here is, I think, show options. That's not what I wanted. Oh dear, what have I done? Oh dear, come on stroke, let's go. There we go. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, what am I trying to do? We want to do... trying to do the scale but keep my stroke the way it is. I don't want to expand the appearance yet, I don't think. Alessandra's here. Hello. Everybody's here. I like it. Okay, well, what I'll do, because I know another way to do this. Actually, what I just want to do these guys. I don't want to do all the other things just yet. I just copied that out, and I want to expand the appearance. So when I scale this, oh silly. Did this do what I thought? Yeah. Okay, so what that did, so this is a live stroke here on this piece here. So there's a live stroke. So when I scale it down, it's going to maintain that stroke, but as you can see at a smaller size, it looks a lot heavier. I don't want it to change. I want it to maintain the same proportions that we have set up here. So when I did the expand appearance, you can see now this is a shape now instead of a stroke. So that when I scale this down, it's not going to scale properly. I don't know why. But when I scale it down, you can see how that stroke kind of stayed relatively in proportion instead of getting big and fat, which I didn't want it to do. That's not the right scale because expand. Scale size without changing. Properties. Okay, yeah. Thank you, RB. I knew it was in here somewhere. I just don't know where my preferences have gone. Document setup? That's not right. There used to be a preference situation. My settings. Object. Okay, oh, I gotta select the thing. Object, transform. Aha! Thank you so much. Dan and RB saved the day. So what this will do, if you have this on, it'll scale, like this will scale. If you have it on, it'll scale them in proportion and maintain what we're trying to do. If we take that off, oh, scaling the corners too. Yeah, I want to do that. So what this will do is it'll maintain that. If not, it'll have that stroke stay the same size, stay at the 1 point or 3 points that I picked, but it won't be in the same proportion as what we wanted before. If you can't find it, it's always in the appearance panel. Okay, awesome, thank you. Yeah, it's hard because like my computer here and my work computer are both set up differently, and this is by default on my work computer, so I haven't found this in a long time. Awesome. So that's what that'll do. That'll maintain all those things for me without throwing them out of proportion, which is what I want to do here. I want to see how this is all going to look. It's probably going to help with our drop shadow too, which will be really nice. So, I don't know what my percentage is here, but I'm going to click OK. And then we're going to try this again. We'll get rid of this. And again, I just want these guys. And without expanding it, we're going to move this down. 2.75. Ah, there we go. See? It did the same thing. Our drop shadow is still in proportion, but see, it's nice and small now. I didn't keep it really big like this. So that works really, really nicely. But I think it's factoring in my drop shadow. Oh, no, it's not. Even better. Sorry, I thought for sure, I think on the expand experience, it was factoring in my drop shadow because I expanded it, but it's not expanding it. I'm going to eventually get rid of this outside drop shadow because I don't want it. But really just for right now, I want to make sure that it looks like this. I just want this inside drop shadow looking like this right now because the art's going to eventually go underneath, and that's a very bad example because the background is dark. Let's use this one. So something like this. Blech. I'm going to try not to zoom in too much. It's not working. Oh, it is working. So you can see there's that drop shadow around the edge there. I'm probably going to make it darker, but it gives that depth, especially right here, that it's inset into the card, that there's some, does that? Align it to the object. Align which to the object? Oh, we have Eli. Hi, Eli. Well, welcome to the stream. Align the drop shadow. Discuss. Okay. We're doing great. How are you doing? We are here on the 2nd anniversary of the Hues and Tones live stream, and I'm stoked. The white square, then select the image and align the... Oh, yeah. No, so RB says select the white square and then select the image and then align it. Yeah, I'm not going to always... I'm hoping to get to a point where we're going to do that and have these line up and be nice and aligned and all this. Why did that happen? I know why that happened. But I'm going to have the art underneath. It's bigger than... it's bigger than the final piece, so I want this wiggle room to kind of play around and make sure that we have everything matching and making sense here. Okay, so that's the kind of ultimate look we're looking for. I think I might mess around with the drop shadow a little bit more. Where is my appearance window? Here it is. It's closed. That's why. That's not where it is. Oh. So you could always like take off the drop shadow and reapply. I don't really like to do that because I'm going to forget what I did. So what you can do is you can select the object that has the drop shadow on it, which is our big... why do I have 2 black borders? What is happening? Oh, that's probably from the divide. Okay. So you just click on the object that has the drop shadow on it. And then if you have your appearance window open, you can double click the drop shadow and then edit it specifically for this. So I'm going to try an 80. Not set, definitely 70, not 80. I'm actually going to try like 100. I think we're going to go full on 100. Just because I want it to be really dark here, and then maybe we expand this. And then maybe not. Maybe we'll just do 90 here, now that it's a bit bigger. Okay. There we go. Because a lot of some of the art is going to be really dark. So an example like this one, that effect's not going to be as strong. You can see it over the snakes and over the leg here, but it's obviously you're not going to see it much over the dark sky, but that's okay. We're going to still kind of get the same effect, and we're going to be playing around with some of the like the numbering and all that kind of stuff next. So there's going to be lots of different ways that we can make this work together. I had to play around with that one a little bit because the snakes don't line up the way I want them to. These, I just have these in here as examples. I've actually changed this art since I did it. I just want to make sure it works, which it seems to be working. So, what did I do? I want to at least make sure that this is at a 90. Okay. Okay. So let's see here. Okay, so we have kind of our rough border. We'll pop this back in here so we can see what we're looking at. This is like the real scale. And then we'll have the full scale up here in comparison. I'm going to save this file is what we're going to do. Okay, so now what we want to do is figure out how we want to do the numbers and things. So what I'm thinking, that's what these spaces are for. I'm actually going to change these to a white because they're kind of not helpful right now. There we go. So this, for those of you who missed the start, these transparency, these shaded squares are for the major arcana. So those are the cards that are kind of more of a big deal. So those are the ones that our Prospo card are going to be. So they usually have a number and a name on there. And then the rest of the cards or suits are a little bit more like a playing card that you'd expect. So there's the numbers in the corners, and then making it really clear when they're upside down. So our numbers are going to look a little funky because the upside down one's going to be right side up. Like it has to be very prominent that these are upside down or right side up, because depending on how you read the tarot cards, upright versus reversed can change the meaning of the card. So the shaded ones are going to be like the placeholders for any major arcana content. And then the white squares are going to be our numbers. So here's where we're going to play around a little bit, because I'm thinking I kind of want to kind of do paper patterns for the numbers, but I also have to kind of identify the suits too, which I haven't really thought about. Because like on some of the cards, so this one is like the 10 of cups. So there's 10 cups on here. It's not like on a deck of cards where there's like a heart or something with your number. So that's actually something I'm going to have to ponder and see how I'm going to identify these different cards. Like I've already identified between half the deck as a black and white card versus a color card. So this is an example of a color card, whereas these are black and white and red. Red is the only color on those ones. So yeah, I'm going to find a way to identify, because I've also changed the suits. So coins are mood. There's a circus, tent, mood, and magic are the suits here, but then on the tarot it's coin or pentacles, wands, cups, and swords. So I may have to come up with something that identifies the 4 different cards and the suits, but for right now, let's just do the major arcana and see what we've got going on here. We'll do that because, so for right now, I'm just going to copy. I do lots of copying and pasting when I work in Illustrator. I'm always afraid I'm going to get rid of something I don't want to get rid of. Eventually I do clean up these files. Okay. So what we want, usually they identify the cards, the major arcana using, well, these ones are actual numbers. And then the other ones are, sometimes they'll do Roman numerals. I think numbers are going to be what we do here. So I'm going to do, we'll just put a 23 in here. And here's the fun part, because we get to pick a font. Now I have a few in mind. Oh dear, I broke the thing. So we will go to the No, Mojo, leave the neighbors be, please. Now I could go with this. This is branding. This is my font. But I don't really like the look of that. Not really feeling it. I actually think this is also going to be, how big is this? Not that. 1.25. I actually think I want a circle here. Could have linked that and just done it normal, because I feel like a circle will make a lot more sense. Oh dear. I don't like that one. So when you're choosing different fonts and things, you can have, when you have your text selected, you can see what it's ultimately going to look like. I'm looking for kind of a scripty type font, something, but something that'll be easy to read. Not that one. Usually if I'm doing like a text or a logo or something, I'll get like a whole pile of art. I've got like different versions of what I have written out, and I'll just copy paste fonts all over the place. But I think for today there's not going to be too much that we want to deal with. There's less than I thought. Okay, there we go. Because I want to go with the circus theme. I want to keep it simple. I don't have much of a vision in my head about this, unfortunately. You can classify some of these. So I want kind of a flowy something. So that clicking this here, the script flowing one, reduced my list a little bit, because I don't want anything too robotic or crazy. And this may be something that's not really on the master, maybe, because I think this is also something that it's going to be unique to each card, having the font and things in there. So maybe I don't mess around with this too much. Maybe we just so I'm thinking if I go with kind of a don't want handwritten, I don't think. Be a bold one. I won't make you guys watch this for much longer, I promise. While I ponder this, how's everybody doing tonight? What are we working on? How did we start our week? I started mine with camping, and it was awesome. The campground kind of like kicked us out in the form of like crazy storms, but we all made it out fine. It was all good. Kind of don't hate this. It's not a 23 card. I don't know why I did this. And then, I don't even know what the 18 is. Okay, give me a second. What is card 18? 5, 6, 7, 8. The moon? Fun. Actually, let's just get rid of this. No, that's not what I wanted. I want this to be centered. Actually, I'll make this centered. Save myself some grief here. Not really living for that so much. If I go back to no filter, kind of want, see, I kind of really want this one. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see about this. I'm not sure that this vision is coming together. I like the text on that one. I'm gonna do like full Hues and Tones branding on this one because this is my font for my Hues and Tones everything, but I like it like a lot. Because I was kind of thinking that these numbers could be in the paper patterns, but I don't think that that's gonna work out very well. But we could do something like, I just turned this to be an outline because I just need to keep in mind what my borders are so I don't go outside of them. And then maybe I place where are my patterns? Here we go. Let's find one of these guys. I want to go crazy, but I think we got to keep it simple. So I want the paper pattern to be in here. This is where all this experimentation comes in. Is all this figuring it out. And then if I put this shape on top, I don't like this big. Let's bring it to 2.2 maybe, like half. I don't know. Okay. And then if we select both, so as long as this guy's on top, and I select both, and I make a clipping mask, it'll clip to that side, which is great. You said Kiss? Like, does that mean that was how you started your week? You went to go see Kiss? Is that what's happening? RB. And then maybe we do the same thing here. Place. I don't want to get too crazy with multiple patterns here. I want to like kind of... Oh. Bummer. Kiss rule. Keep it simple. Yeah, keep it simple. I hear ya. Don't be too messy. And you can edit this as well. So I don't really like where that is. So you can I double click to go into the group further, deeper and deeper into it. You can also select the art. Like I'm just clicking on the paper pattern right now. I just want to move it around. And I also want to scale it down because I think there's too much pixelation. So I want to, and I don't think I flipped it. So we'll flip it now. It's like some of the swirls and stuff that happen here. Okay, and then we'll go back one. Okay. Oh dear, so much jumping. So sorry, guys. So if I apply... So what I want to do is I want to apply the drop shadow to these guys. It won't have too much impact to the moon, but I want this top circle to have the drop shadow on it, I think. So I can remember the effects or whatever that I put on it last time, or what you can do is if you go up to your effect window and if you say apply drop shadow, it will apply the last set of settings you used. And then, because I don't love that to begin like right away. Oops. It's at least a starting point, but I think it's too far away. It doesn't give the effect I want. I can click on that shape and then edit the drop shadow from there. It won't edit the drop shadow that we did before. Now, like you saw, that was a 0.75, so that was the initial drop shadow that we applied. So just keep that in mind, but it's at least a good starting point. Here we go. I want it a little bit closer to that. And then this one. Oh, we have Amy on Facebook. I was just able to join. Yes, these are my tarot cards. We are doing the borders and stuff today. So I haven't finished the art on all these, but I have these for, oh, screaming babies in the hallway. Hang on. These are the 4 we have done so far. Nope, switch it up. Do better. Sorry, it's easier. I'm used to doing fresco. There we go. So these are the 4 that we have so far. We have our fortune teller, we have Prospero, we have the snake charmers, and we have the kittens. And this is the content we have so far. And today I'm working on the borders so that when I'm done the art, I can have them be all like finished up and stuff. So I'm super stoked. Apply drop shadow. Edit drop shadow. Okay, so it is applying the effect of the very first one we did. So not necessarily, we did edit it after, so something to keep in mind there. Yay, so exciting. Yeah, I agree. I'm very stoked. Very stoked. Now I'm wondering, I've done all this drop shadow madness. What if I don't use that? So when you're in your appearance menu that you have here, you can turn all these effects off and on. So I use this a lot when I'm not sure which one I want to apply, like right now. So we have our drop shadow right there, but I think I'm going to hide it. You can work like this with like the layer, like you can with the layers feature. Turn that off. But I'm wondering about a different one, which may give me more what I'm hoping for. So the inner glow, it might still not do what I want. Just leave them be, buddy. Nope, that's not what I want. Stylized. There it is. That's what I want. Okay. Oh, Mom and Dad are here too. Woohoo! They made it. Their long road trip of madness. They made it. Thank goodness. I just don't feel like I have as much control over this. Unless we do it like 100%. Because what this gives me, if I do this instead, is not what I want. It's supposed to multiply. How come it's not? There we go. I just don't know if that hits as hard. I don't think that hits as hard as the drop shadow, eh? It does not. Okay. I was thinking with the outer glow, it would kind of like give an overall, like it would cover all sides instead of just two. I don't think that's giving me what I want. No, I don't want to mess around. Multiply is definitely what I want. Oh, I canceled that, didn't I? No, keep it at that size, but I don't know that that kicks as hard. No, I really want it to be like a really hard, deep line. So if we compare these two, get this out of the way. I think this gives, the fortune teller gives a more depth of an effect, I think, than the outer glow. Okay, so I'm not going to do that, but we've tried it and we know that we don't like that. So I'm just going to delete these out of here so I don't confuse myself. Now that we've put Prospero in here, let's put the actual card and see what it looks like. What is his card? He is 4 and the Emperor. Okay, so let's change this up here. 4. Sweet. This would be something for designing the cards. If I have this title here, I'm going to have to make sure that there's no art there. This is why I want to do this relatively early. Because I don't want to design stuff that I can't use. I don't mind the 4 over the hat there. That's not a big deal to me. But his hand's kind of a big deal. We do all of this and align it to center. Now I don't know. I'm going to delete these now. Those are in place. Okay. Something feels not correct here. Can I put a... Again, I'm trying to keep it simple, but I'm also like adding 1,000 things. I just feel something's missing. Something is not right. And that's what these experiments are for. What the heck? What? What is going on? How come I can't? ¿Por qué? What just happened? Oh, I know what I did. I think. That's not what I wanted to do at all. Sorry. I clicked the wrong shortcut. I'm sorry. Copy. Front. There it is. It was hiding behind the mask. That's what it was doing. I don't want 5. Stop selecting the thing. Okay. Now I'm just wondering, I think though. Okay, so what we'll do here is I'll copy this again. And we definitely want to do here, just for my own sanity. We don't have to do it. Oh, actually, we might be okay. We might be okay. Just hang on. If we link and scale down to a 2.75. Oh yeah, the font went with it. Thank goodness. That's not what I wanted. This is why you should work on artboards and not like... Okay, put these out of here. So if I do view... actual size, that's what I want. So the guy on the right would be our actual size. I think we're pushing the limits of the viewability of that text. So that would be something I'd have to test kind of all the names of the cards with. So I would do something like this. There's 22. So what I'd do is this. And I would type out all of the different names of the cards to see if they're legible or not, because we might have to change fonts or change sizes. Again, something I want to find out early, but I feel like the plan is for me to place, I want this, at least this black border and white border with its drop shadow to be something that I use as a master for every card. So that should something come down the line, like card comes down where that's just not going to work and I want to change something, or I'm finding this stroke is too thick, or the drop shadow doesn't work, or something like that, all I would have to do is edit the master and it would update all of the files following it, rather than having to start from scratch each time or go into each one and kind of replace that file. It would at least be linked, and I would fix the link if it got broken. Make sure we're at actual size still. I think we're pretty close. And then what I would have to do here is so I'd have to just make sure like the A works. 1, 2. So we're gonna have to do some scaling here for when I do the actual ones in the corners that are like the suit cards, because you can see the letters come out pretty big. Oh dear, I'm not even paying attention here. 7, 8, 9, 10. And then there is the page, knight, queen, and the page, the knight. Yeah, okay, just making sure. Queen and the king. So we're gonna have to do some scaling madness, because if we're putting these in the top corners, I don't think I'm going to do the circle. I don't think I like that so much. I'm kind of thinking I want to have the, we might have to. Okay, let me, nope, absolutely not what I want. This one plus this one. No, too close, bounding box in the way. Come on. What the heck? Come on, you. Oh, I know what happened. That's why. My bad. There's 3 things here, not 2. And I would like to point out that this should not be a demonstration that you use for layering and file setup to start with. As an example, everything's on the same layer here. It's a mess. Don't follow me too closely here. When I get to something, this is kind of like, this file format really is one that it's all the exploration, right? Okay, sorry. It's all the exploration part of the piece. So all my files are going to be pretty sloppy when it comes to this one for right now. But when I get into actually the final border that we come to something that we really like, then that's where we're going to set up the actual file with the layers and everything, so that I can actually use it as something that's we can edit with and work with and all that kind of fun stuff. So my exploration files are generally a disaster, like this one. But once we get into something that makes a lot more sense, then we will have a more coherent piece. So something like that, maybe. I'm just going to copy this guy over here. Feel like we need, oh, RB's heading out. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. We'll see you next week. Oh no, we won't, but I will See you next time I'm streaming. I'm not streaming next week. Going on an adventure. Oh dear. Chaos. So let's see, what's... She's actually the 3, so let's try a different number. Let's try that. All right. What do you think? I'm just wondering, do we like the paper pattern in behind the number? Or do we like fill it and it's just white? What we could do actually, because this is technically a gray card. So say, this is actually a good card to test this with because she's got some color when she's not really supposed to. So what if I do... Oops, where did that go? No, that's not good. I want object. I want to nope. Yeah, object. I want the color settings, effect, stylize. Okay. Can I desaturate this one piece? I just want to desaturate one. So what if we do... Sorry, I live in Illustrator, guys, and I'm pushing the limits of all my knowledge right now. I won't hang out too much longer. Mojo's got to go for a walk, but I just want to... what's this? New stroke. Oh, I did not want to do that. It's a linked file too. That's dangerous. So what I think I would do here is oh wait, maybe not, eh? Object. Oh, what the heck? Okay. Anyway, what I'm thinking I might do is not here. We could use the paper pattern, but I think on the cards where it's supposed to be black and white, I would desaturate it. So it'd be the paper pattern. I think I'm thinking Photoshop right now. So that would be a black and white card. And then on these ones, they would be the color cards. And we have the black and white paper pattern here. Some of the major arcana are going to be black and white, and some are going to be color, depending on their subject matter. So I'm just going to leave that for now. So this one's supposed to be a black and white card. So let's toss this one in. Okay, so let's isolate these just a little bit. Oops, oh dear. Try not to make anybody throw up here. Okay, so this one's a 10 actually, I think. Sorry. It'll just be something we have to figure out is how am I going to identify? So this one is tense and this one is circus. Okay, so this one is supposed to be the circus suit and this one's supposed to be a tent suit. Do I fill it with white? I don't really want to be this literal with it. What did I say? This one is circus. 24. Holy Hannah. Do I be this boring literal with it? I really don't like that. Unless we do this. Maybe it can be bigger. So now that I'm playing around with this, because this is at the small size, so I'm gonna have to like reverse engineer this to the bigger scale size, I think. Be a lot of work to do here. And then this is see, this is the one I want to be I don't really like that, I don't think. This is too far outside of the border for printing purposes. I don't know if I love that as much. This is showing the behind the scenes that not all the art just kind of falls out of the pen. Sometimes you gotta fight with it a little bit. What if we did I'm pushing my luck with the sides of the card a little bit, so I don't want to put it on the side. Like, part of me thought like here and rotating it might not be bad. But I'm pushing my luck already with the side of the card. With how much room I have there, because if I put the text there, then I have to make the border wider, otherwise the printer might cut it off. I don't like this as much. I prefer those, but I don't really know if I like that as much yet. I know, Mojo. I'm coming, buddy. Okay. Okay, so we're working towards a process here. Still lots to do to figure out I think I'm liking the numbers. I think I kind of want to stick with that font if I can. Because the suits are not really iconable. We have circus, tense, magic, and mood. I don't know if I love the idea of no, this it's a pretty big font. Holy cow. This will also come down to printing as well. I'm gonna have to see, because like right now that's like a 30-point font. That's kind of ginormous. What if we do all lowercase? Align these guys. Oops, like this and this. No, no, just leave the neighbors be, buddy. We're almost done, okay? You're fine. You're a good boy. I know. We're almost done. Okay. Some options to play with. Okay, I think we're in a good spot right now. Liking where the major arcana is going right now, because I think we can play around with that with some black and white cards and some color cards back and forth. I like the circle treatment. Of the numbers. Just don't know how to identify the suits just yet, and I need both of these. So how big is this? Just copy that, because I've deviated away from my original template. This is the mess I am currently making for myself. Go, and because I want in the end cards at the full 8.5 by 11 size for printing, and I want some at the smaller size, and I just want to be able to scale both of them. Like in the end there'll be a file that has the 8.5 by 11 size and the 2.75 size, because I want to use these as prints or anything else. Like I want them at a big scale. I'm creating the art at this bigger scale. I just also need to make sure that they print nicely. Because like that's a 30-point font. That feels ginormous. It's a weird font because of like the capital letters are so big. It's hard to read the little ones. Oh no. Like, I wonder if this is almost... I don't really want to do this, but if we do... No. Do we not have it condensed? I don't like that. Oh, hello, I'm Behance. Thanks for joining in. We are working on a tarot deck. I'm laying out working on the kind of final style of, well, the style for the borders and everything today. Oh, I don't like that either. It's too dark. So I'm trying to figure out how to... I thought there was a condense. Oh, but it's bold. I don't want that. Condensed bold, condensed black. I definitely do not want those. Light. I don't like the thin. Good, keep it up. Thank you. 10. I don't know, it just feels like too literal somehow having it. This is too small for sure. You can't read what that says. But this feels like, it's just tense. What if we do, can I italicize this? Thin italic? Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I like that. I just joined Behance. I don't know this platform. Well, right now we're in Adobe Illustrator, working on the tarot deck, because I'm hoping to create the borders as a master. All the art has been done in Adobe Fresco, though. Okay. I feel like I've taken up enough of everybody's time, but this is where we're at. So I think we're set. I really like the border for sure, with the white edge and the drop shadow over the outer glow. I think I like where the circles are at. I think there's some testing that needs to be done with the fonts, and testing with the fonts to make sure that they're legible, figuring out how we want to do the suits. Going to be some print tests to see how these print out at a tiny space. I think this one definitely doesn't work. So lots of work still to do. Something as simple as a border can take a lot of time and space. Okay. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you guys to it for now. This is a good start. There's still some work to be done, but I think knowing that we have this space and how big this will be in the end, so 5.4, 8.55, that's a little smaller than the 9 by the 9 by 6 that I've been creating at. So something to keep in mind when I'm creating them further down the line, that I don't have anything too important. Like on this card here, the hand is a little too close to the border, and we're kind of losing the spoon on the kittens, which I don't love because that's kind of like key there. So just things to keep in mind when I'm designing the cards down the line. But I think like our fortune teller's working okay. The snakes might work out okay. But yeah, this is part of this crazy process, that this kind of stuff can take a really long time, and it's a lot of like layers off and on, or a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, all this other kind of stuff. So just showing you a bit of behind the scenes of how kind of messy this can be before it becomes coherent and nice. But showing the process right now of where that's at, and how it's coming together, and the different things that you have to kind of keep in mind when you're designing these kinds of things, so that you don't lose track or find out too late in the game. I have the big ones and the little ones, because the little ones are what we would be printing ultimately, and I have to keep in mind what the printers would be asking for while still building at a big size. So lots to keep an eye out for. Alessandra says, these look great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So I think I'm going to let you guys all go. I've run over a little bit extra today, but I'll keep picking away at this. I do kind of want to start presenting the cards as finalized yet. Still feel like there's a couple things missing. I'm going to ruminate on this a little bit. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for allowing me to do this for at least 2 years. This is the anniversary. For those of you who did not catch the beginning of this, is 2-year anniversary today of the Hues and Tones live stream. So thank you so much for everybody tuning in and keeping this as a really fun project for me to do. I always appreciate joining in and seeing everybody for a little bit in my week. Unfortunately, I will not be here next week. I'm going on an adventure, so I won't be here next week, but I will be back the week after. Happy stream anniversary. Thank you so much, Alessandra. I appreciate it. You've been here for most of the time, and I appreciate it. Yeah, so thanks so much again. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Again, I won't be on next Monday, but I will be coming back the week after with a little bit more. I don't know how much more of this will be done, but we might get into another card or see what's going on there. But just all part of the fun process. Lots and lots to do here. Thanks so much again, everybody. Have a great night, and I'll catch you in 2 weeks. Bye, y'all.